So it's Monitor Mayhem. We have two more of these PYE 14-inch monitors to clean up and see if we can get going again. Let's begin by having a quick look at the overall condition of the monitors. First impressions are not great. The monitors are very, very dirty. They've obviously got extremely damp because that was seized. There's rust starting to appear on the steel parts of the monitor. That will clean up and it'll look a lot better, but there's obviously going to be more restoration required than on the first set of monitors that we did a few years ago. That said, they are complete. We do have a reasonable set of spares for them, so I think there is hope. We've not had a look inside yet. You'll be seeing this the first time, as will I. All the knobs are present. That's completely seized. I don't want to force that because we know that these knobs are brittle. That is moving freely. That one here is stiff. I don't want to again move that without investigating further. Same there, stuck. That's free. And that one's free. So there's some progress there. I think what we'll do now is we'll just have a quick look inside and see how bad they are before we get them on the bench. So we'll just see if we can remove the side panel. This is a steel screw. It is turning. I don't want to do anything other than exercise that at the moment, I think. I can imagine the bit that is turning is the screw inside the thread that hasn't been exposed to the air, but it then goes tight, which suggests that the end of the screw is rusted. I suspect I have no alternative other than to hope I'm not going to shear the screw off and just keep working it backwards and forwards. That's either come loose or no. We both knew that would happen, didn't we? Yes, the screw's sheared off. Okay, well it's already missing from this side, so let us, for the first time, see what horrors lay within. Okay, so again we're in trouble already. These screws show no sign of easily shifting, and I suspect these will just shear off. It would be nice to see in a little further, but I think the sensible thing to do is to put some penetrating oil on and just leave it for a while. So these switches here, which are the termination switches for the three inputs, the two videos and the sync input, these are seized solid. They're obviously got steel parts in them that have just rusted. Again, I think we'll have to have no option other than to soak these in penetrating oil and just see if they'll free up. I'm looking inside the monitor. There's plenty of dirt. I thought it might be quite badly oxidised, but it isn't too bad. This is just light surface oxide on the aluminium parts inside. It will have to be stripped down more thoroughly than the other ones, and more thoroughly than I would like, but again I think we can bring that back mechanically. Let's go and have a look at the other side and see what's going on there. So spinning the monitor around, having a look at this side, I noticed that this screw's already been removed at some time in the monitor's past. Let's see if this one is any better than the others. Well, this one is actually turning. Well, it feels like that's going to come out all the way. Yep, we're clear on that side. Right, let's take a look. This is principally the power supply and field scan on this side of the monitor. Again, we've got similar corrosion that is just surface. A bit more concerned about the coating on the back of the monitor. That is starting to come away from the monitor. I don't want to touch that at all because I'll only make it worse. Let's see if we can actually hinge this board down. Yep, that screw's turning. I wonder whether where this was in storage, this side was perhaps just a little less exposed to the wet, which is why it is corroded less. Right, what horrors lie within? That's actually rather interesting. The board itself is quite clean. Inside here is the high voltage power supply and EHT generator. Again, there's a lot of external corrosion. This is going to be quite an interesting restoration, I think. It's going to be a big strip down and clean up. And it'll be interesting to see how much of the actual electronics has survived. It may not be as bad as it looks, or it might be far worse. Who knows? Only time will tell. I'll take a look at the second monitor now and see if this has fared any better. That is encouraging. That is free and loose. It looks like that'll come out all the way, this one. On this side? Yeah, again, that is free. It's remarkable after so many years of just standing in damp conditions. Maybe this one was in a slightly more favourable storage location compared to its neighbour. I think this is going to come out all the way. That's the problem. Yep, there we go. Let's have a look at this side there. Okay. Again, first impressions are very similar to the other one. Remember, this is the one that I couldn't undo on the other monitor, and that is free. That is free. So we can have a look at this side. This will be video input and line scan on this side, on this board. The other trick with these monitors is that there's a couple of screws at the back that need to come out because the switchboard is also held. These screws are very rusty on the outside, but it is coming apart. I haven't got much room on the bench at the moment, which is why I'm outside in the garden. Interestingly, one screw is already missing from down here. I guess this shows that these monitors have had some work done in the past. I mean, you would expect that, of course, though. So, it is mid-December, but fortunately it's not too cold at the moment. I doubt that will change. Oops, hello. Ah, now that's interesting. So this board should be held down here, but something has come adrift, so it's all free to move rather alarmingly. Let's have a look. It's simply that the screw's missing. I wonder how that happened. Game condition is rather mixed. Superficially it's quite clean, but there is obvious corrosion here. These are the input relays for the video signals to be switched between input 1 and input 2. These electrolytic capacitors look a little sorry for themselves. There is corrosion on the end caps. From previous experience, the wire bonding on the end of the capacitors is likely to have corroded through and will probably just fall off if these are touched for too long. I think I've changed that one before in the past, where it's just fallen to pieces. It's quite interesting to note that where video cables were plugged in to this prior to us removing the monitor, the condition is actually really lovely and clean. Let's see how the screen protector is. Oh, crikey, that's loose as well. That's remarkable. And that one. I think we may have got to these monitors just in the nick of time. They should just drop out. It's a piece of perspex. I wonder when the last time that was off. It's good to see that the foam behind here hasn't decayed. I don't know about this tube though. There's some nasty marks which seem to be internal to the tube. There's also a blemish around there. I guess we're going to have to see what happens when we get to the stage of powering this up, which will not be for quite some time, I think. I need to decide which of these two monitors to begin work on. They're both bad, very bad in their own right. I'm inclined to start with this one, as I think this one has had less damp than the other. Although that is, the top handle is stuck. Let's see. First of all, we have to clean some space in the shed. Oh, actually no, before that, we need to give these an exterior clean. I don't like working on the electronics until the exteriors are in a slightly better shape. At least a surface clean. Not a restoration, but a surface clean will make working on the electronics a little less unpleasant. So this piece can come out, and that can be cleaned in the sink. I think that will need to be cleaned with just some dry cloth. I'm not too worried about this piece down here because that will come out with the control panel as one piece. But we can attack the exterior panels now and the top of the monitor, which is pretty gross. So I'm just using a microfiber cloth, some slightly soapy water, and I'm just going to try and remove as much dirt as I possibly can from the cabinet. Already I can see that most of the problem is just surface dirt, which is coming straight off. Perhaps not surprising considering where this has been stored, but nonetheless it's the accumulation of many years of dirt and general detritus. This is really a very crude first pass, just to make this a little less unpleasant to handle. I'm not going to make any attempt to get any of the more ingrained dirt out at this stage. It also gives us an opportunity to see the underlying condition a little better. We're going to need to respray some of this metal where the rust has come through. It might be that the spares collection might yield a control panel if we get to that stage. But we'll see how we get along with what we have. Interesting to note that both the monitors, the power switches were in the on position. I wonder when this was last used in anger, and what tales it might be able to tell if it could speak. Okay. We'll give the outer covers a similar clean, which will lift off perhaps just the worst of the dirt. To de-rust these screws at a later date. Mechanically though, they're not in bad condition, I suppose, these panels. They're certainly better than the other ones we had repaired a few years ago, which needed some metal bashing. The corrosion seems to be occurring there, which is interesting. Not quite sure what's going on there, but we'll give this a clean as well, just so that the dirt doesn't come off my hands when I'm working on it. Yeah, that can be done a bit better at a later date, but considering how bad it was, I think that's a definite improvement. So around the back it's a similar story. It's good to see that the actual nameplates are intact totally, and all the legends are still there. This monitor obviously hasn't been thrown around from location to location. And it was stored with the mains plug in place, so that's actually protected the interior of the mains inlet connector. Obviously the screws at the back are steel and have rusted, so it's going to be quite a laborious task to strip this down, clean up each of the screws and replace them, but I think that will be after we assess the electronics. So it'll be a question of course cleaning first, sort the electronics out stage at a time, and then once we're happy with that, we can go to a more detailed restoration of the mechanical side of the monitor. As I said, for now I'm just more concerned about getting the thing a little bit less unpleasant to handle. Right, so that's not too bad for first pass of cleaning, I don't think. Ah, we've got a bad tube, I think. What a nightmare.